The Golden State Warriors are somehow doing this thing again. Before the season started, I picked the Warriors to get to the finals, and last Sunday, even with the extreme temptation of Phoenix rolling, I stuck with that pick. Now, Stephen Curry got hurt against Boston and missed the last 12 games of the year. Not too long before that, Draymond destroyed his second Defensive Player of the Year case, and he missed 31 consecutive games pretty much the minute Klay got back. And as we all know, Klay, he missed the first 38 games of the year. So this big three, they legitimately played musical chairs throughout the season. In fact, do you know that this magical big three, they only played a total of 11 minutes together this regular season? That's not even a full quarter. With me not ever liking my championship pick to limp into the playoffs, I said in my last video that I'm putting a lot of faith into the evolution of Jordan Poole while Steph recovers. And so far, with a commanding 3-0 lead, more points than the original Jordan in his first 3 playoff games, and a higher 3-point rate and amount than the master himself, it's safe to say that Jordan, he might have heard me. And speaking of you hearing me with the best possible quality, let me shout out today's video sponsor, Raycon. Great earbuds that actually gives you the value for what you're truly paying. They're almost impossible to find nowadays. With Raycon's everyday earbuds, you definitely have the perfect mix of a slick look, reasonable pricings, and most importantly, the quality of the earbuds you're actually purchasing. What I believe separates Raycons from pretty much every other brand is they truly take into consideration the long-term comfort of the earbuds actually being in your ear. It's not just about the sound, because if it doesn't fit right, I can't really enjoy that sound. Raycons come with these optimized gel tips that you can switch in and out to fit your specific ear shape. And trust me, they never come out. I'm trying them on right now, right in front of y'all, and I absolutely love them in the gym because even through sweat, movement, whatever, they're going to be glued to your ears. Also, what I can appreciate about them is they last. They come with 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life. All these extremely clutch features, and they come at about half the price compared to other premium audio brands. If you want to experience that top tier sound and not break the bank while doing it, visit buyraycon.com/swishout or just click the link in my description. They're offering you guys 15% off of your first order when you use my link, so make sure you take advantage. As always, big shout out to Raycon for looking out for the channel, and most importantly, my guys.
Do you like this pick, Jordan Poole, by the Warriors?
Maybe the worst pick in the draft so far.
There we go.
And there's nothing against Jordan Poole. No offense, dude. I think the guy could be a rotation NBA player someday. But if you're going to get a guy who can come in and make shots, you're picking a sophomore. You're picking a guy who's 20 years old and has some growth to do. This is a guy that you likely could have gotten as an undrafted free agent. So this is such an overdraft. Like we talk about that Cam Johnson pick at number 11 being an overdraft. This is much more of an overdraft. There's less at stake here because you're picking in the low 20s. You're not picking in the lottery. But this is an absolutely inexplicable pick by the Warriors.
Going on 2 years ago, I made a video titled, "If You Ever Hated the Warriors, You Never Understood This." This video was pretty much a breakdown as to why you should actually appreciate the Warriors run rather than hating it, because it was actually constructed beautifully, and I don't know if it can ever be duplicated again. Sure, you don't have to like how everything came together and what it momentarily did to our sport. Trust me, I didn't either. But one thing you literally can't discount is the strategic homegrown method they used to get where they ultimately winded up. Prior to getting KD, I could never call Golden State a super team because typically when I think of that word, it's associated with a player created team through free agency or trades, a la the Big Three in Miami, the Big Three in Boston, the Big Three in Brooklyn in 2021. Those teams actually had one guy or less actually drafted to that team. Golden State drafted all 3 All-Stars, so that, like I said, that's homegrown. Golden State's was obviously a lot more commendable and respected because everything was rooted from their draft savviness, a strong defensive foundation led by Mark Jackson, and a masterful development group within their personal system. Now insert the newest example of this very same point, Jordan Poole. Jordan is one of the best draft picks I've seen in a long time, and most of it stems from how he was actually incorporated in this system. I don't know what exactly it is about injuries actually being a long-term blessing for this team. I've never seen it like this quite before, but whatever it is, they have it. This has been a common theme and a common occurrence with this team literally for the last decade. First, Stephen Curry and those ankle injuries, damn near forcing him to take a team-friendly deal, ultimately freeing up some much-needed space to grab those essential championship pieces long-term. And now, one of your best players actually getting hurt in the finals, leading to you having to pay said player $68 million to rehab while you develop his duo's prodigy in the process. You can't make this stuff up. Obviously, we couldn't understand at the time, but Klay Thompson getting injured was probably the best thing possible for the Warriors' future long term. This allowed them to damn near tank the following season, with Steph also breaking his hand playing only 5 games, get a good pick as a result of that, which if anything gives them much leverage, trade a bad fit for an expensive yet much better one, and in the process develop a bit of depth while your vets rest and you develop your young core. Jordan Poole literally had the perfect start to his career during this journey, essentially making every year a stepping stone into a future of helping his team become whole again, which we're seeing right now. The first year, much without Steph and the system, and actually allowing him to develop his raw talents and get a good feel for the NBA as a whole. The second one, a development year with Steph actually having an MVP campaign and learning how to play within that system. And now this year, actually having to apply what he's learned from Steph and damn near emulate him at times. First of all, look at his homegrown progression through the years. Like, it's a crime that this man wasn't a top 3 candidate for most improved players. I don't even understand that system. And this year, I know Warriors fans may know this, but a lot of people probably don't. He had a 17-game stretch in which he scored 20 points in every game. And look at his splits during that process. A lot of that came when Stephen Curry got hurt. Also, another reason why his progression was so imperative, in my opinion, is it allowed Klay a little bit of leverage to truly work through that injury. Warriors fans know, especially after Draymond and Steph got hurt, it was ugly for Klay at times. And as he struggled, we were watching the evolution of Jordan Poole. Now, through the patience, Klay Thompson towards the end of the year worked back into becoming who he once was. Steph can work his way back into the lineup strategically and still kind of nurse that injury. And it seems like you have what looks to be an emerging star with Jordan Poole. Also, the growth of Jordan during this Big Three musical chairs movement, it allowed Golden State to discover the newest version of what we like to call the death lineup. This was originally established in 2015 when a 28-year-old assistant gave Steve Kerr the advice to actually start Iguodala in the finals against the Cavs. This small ball lineup was extremely unorthodox and possibly dangerous against certain teams, but for a team specifically like Golden State, the positives just significantly outweighed the cons. This allowed Golden State the spacing they need to truly maximize that lethal backcourt they had, and ultimately it forced opposing coaches to make mid-game, mid-series lineup adjustments as Golden State just shot teams out the gym. As we all should know, that small ball depth lineup thing will become even more unguardable as they got Kevin Durant, and now this year's version. So far, it's the deadliest lineup in the playoffs, and it's going to be extremely tough to stop going forward. Steph, Klay, and Poole are all averaging 76 points a night on some ridiculous splits, by far the most lethal Big Three in the playoffs so far. And the most important part of all of this, making really this whole thing come together, Draymond Green. The main reason Golden State is even able to run a lineup like this isn't just because they have a bunch of shooters, bro. It's because they have the most versatile defender of our generation that's also a point guard / quarterback for that team. Jokic clearly had a great game 3, and to me, that's why, that game was a lot closer than the previous 2. But look at what Jokic averaged in the first 2 games of that series. You may be saying that's still great numbers, but when Golden State's main deficiency is their size disadvantage, especially with a dominant big like Jokic, and you're not allowing him to exploit your disadvantage in an abnormal, heroic type of way, then you're doing your job excellently, especially when you're giving up like 7-8 inches. Again, pause. Also in game 3 in Denver, even though Jokic had a great game, he had a massive turnover in the 4th quarter. That turnover came from the hands of who? Draymond Green. Look at how he was guarding Jokic for the first 2 games of the series to actually set the tone. Again, that's defensive versatility at the highest level. Also, on the other side, where he doesn't get much credit for because he doesn't have the deepest offensive scoring bag. But if you look at the Warriors' early playoff success offensively, Draymond's fingerprints are all over it. If you look at assists per game these playoffs, Draymond's 5th, but if you look at his usage rate during that process, his is extremely low in comparison to everyone else. That's literally him making the right plays damn near every time he's on the court. Also, his turnovers are extremely low, so you know he's making the right plays. Also, if you look at a common occurrence within the Warriors' dominance, is they typically lead the league in one normal category: team assist. Look at what they're doing in these playoffs. Most of that, again, is from Draymond Green. In these playoffs, and I know it's an extremely small sample size, bruh, but I still want y'all to get this point. In these playoffs, he's second in average passes made per game, and he's only second to the most quarterback offense ran through person in this world, Jokic. So that just shows you how much he's keeping the ball moving and keeping really the offense afloat. Also, if you look at assist points created, he's third to 2 of the best playmakers this league has to offer. So he's doing it in an extremely unorthodox fashion, but just as effective. Having like the most unorthodox weapon maybe this league has ever seen, it's a massive advantage, and he's proven he's literally the glue to this core. If you guys like this video, make sure you like this video. I have to say we looking good, and I'm gonna say we because I did pick this team to get to the finals before the season even started, so I'm not bandwagon during the season, mid-season playoffs. I did pick them, so I have the right to say we. I'm not a Warriors fan, but I'm supporting them because I want to be right, bro. I want to be right. If you like this video, make sure you like this video, follow my social media sites, turn on post notifications, do all that great stuff, guys, and until next time, as always, stay tuned.